Hey guys, Dean here, back again. Another video, so soon. Who would have thought it, eh? 3 videos this year. Madness. Anyway, so this video is a continuation of the Iron Maiden Spotlight series. So the last video we did was Power Slave. So obviously now we move on to, in my opinion, their best live album, and potentially one of the best live albums ever put to disc. That is, of course, Live After Death. So, Live After Death was recorded on the World Slavery Tour. So the World Slavery Tour for Iron Maiden essentially was, I think, still their biggest tour they've done. In excess of 330 days, I believe. And within those 330 days, you were looking at around, pretty sure it's just 189 or 190 gigs. So essentially gigging 6 days a week, pretty much, for the most part, with a few exceptions here and there. So massive gig, so massive tour, huge number of gigs on that. And I think a lot of the band commented at the end of that, they were just literally shattered. Bruce Dickinson particularly just felt like he was a machine just going through, trying to get to the end. It's never-ending sort of tour, and I think some of the outcome of this tour certainly affected the following album, Somewhere in Time. I mean, Bruce Dickinson, I've mentioned this before, was quite sparse on the writing credits, and I think that's for different reasons, not necessarily because of the fact that they had a massive tour. I think he wanted to go into a different direction anyway. He wanted to do an acoustic album essentially, which Steve Harris just essentially flatly said no, that's not happening. But anyway, I digress. That's a conversation for the next video. So, Iron Maiden, Live After Death. So we also have the video. So the first time I was introduced to Iron Maiden really was this video on VHS, not on DVD as we've got it here. I was aware of the band before then, so this would have been 1986 maybe. So this was released in October 1985. The album was recorded across, I think they did 4 nights at Long Beach Arena, and they did 4 nights at Hammersmith Odeon in the UK. So the Hammersmith Odeon, which makes up side 4 of the live album, was recorded, I believe, in October 1984. The Long Beach Arena section was recorded in March 1985, and then this got released in October 1985 along with a video. So the main thing really, I've been into rock music and so forth beforehand, before seeing these, and a friend of mine who was a massive Iron Maiden fan at the time says, you've got to watch this live video, it's amazing. And I was a bit, yeah, whatever, it can't be that amazing. And we literally sat down and watched the whole thing from start to finish, and I was gobsmacked. Just by the pure energy of the band, the stage set, and the stage I think is potentially, with the exception of Seventh Son, still the best stage set that they ever had. The whole Egyptian theme from the Power Slave album just looked amazing, as you'll see shortly. But just the musicianship, the stage presence of Bruce, and even some of the rest of the band, the whole thing as a package just blew me away. And since then, been a massive Iron Maiden fan. So that's the video. We're not here to talk about the video, we're here to talk about the album. So obviously the only thing I will say on the video is that you have basically all of the songs up until Running Free, with the exception of Sanctuary bolted on, which I don't think was on the original VHS. This was bolted on to the end of this video. Pretty sure that was recorded also from Long Beach. So the video is Long Beach. The album, as I said before, is split. So you've got sides 1, 2 and 3. So essentially the video portion up until running free, and that is Long Beach, California, and then the remaining tracks on side 4 are Hammersmith Odeon. So let's go through the pressings. So I don't have many pressings actually of Live After Death, and I suppose certainly compared to some of the other albums. No particular reason for that, it's just I've not hugely picked up many. Anyway, Live After Death, you've seen the cover. That is the glorious Gatefold. So that essentially is the Iron Maiden encore, the end of the Iron Maiden song when Eddie comes out doing his traditional appearance. But yeah, just looks amazing. Some fantastic pictures on here. That's the back, so you've got classic Derek Riggs artwork there. Fantastic. First double album as well by the band. So you've got the discs there with custom labels, the gravestones, the track listings, and each of the discs came with some pictures from the tour, and then obviously lyrics on the back. And then same for disc number 2. Get them out. There's some stuff here. So again, same on there. Different pictures this time. And lyrics on the bottom. Some more picture. Another picture at the bottom of the stage set from above. But also, with this, you also had a booklet. So it's like a tour booklet. So it had lots of pictures of the band. So that's Eddie pre-mummified stage, as you saw on the Gatefold. But essentially you've got all the tour dates. It's a fantastic booklet. And this is available in the newer versions as well. Great picture of Steve Harris there. So you had that, and you also had some copies, if you could still find it available. There's the merchandise sheet as well. Normally this is missing. I've had a few copies of this over the years. This is the UK pressing, by the way, I forgot to mention that at the start. So this is the RIP1 catalogue number. So yeah, a lot of the time you find that merch sheet has disappeared, more so than a lot of the other albums actually, and whether that's just because a lot of people decided to actually take them up on the offer of what was in the merch, I'm not so sure. But yeah, so this is the RIP1 pressings. This is the first UK pressing of the album. Sounds great. So sound quality wise, so the album was recorded using the Rolling Stones mobile recording studio, which they also later used on the No Prayer for the Dying album. Steve's studio was sort of there at the farm where they recorded the album, but the studio wasn't fully set up, I don't believe. So they recorded using the mobile, same as they did on Live After Death. Personally, I think it is one of the best sounding live albums there has been. The full stop. I say fantastic track listing. Can't beat it. So as far as UK pressings go, that's basically what I'm trying to be complete on with Iron Maiden. So the other UK pressing we have, which was done a few years later, I'm not sure the exact date, is the Fame pressing. So that's the FA 3248. Now this is quite difficult to come by. So it's essentially exactly the same album as far as the cover goes. The records, I also believe, were the same labels, just have FA 3248 on the labels. I'm not sure if they use different stampers. I'm assuming it's the same stamper, just with a different run out matrix crossed out potentially. This one's a bit, the records aren't in fantastic condition. I'd probably say a good plus at best. Covers potentially about the same, but it's a really difficult Fame edition to get. So the first three are nice and easy. So you've got Iron Maiden, Killers and Peace of Mind, which are a piece of cake to get hold of. Sorry, Iron Maiden, Killers, Number the Beast. Peace of Mind is a bit more difficult to get hold of, but again, there's a few out there. Not so many of this. Seventh Son, relatively easy to get hold of as well. As is Somewhere in Time. So this is certainly one of the more difficult ones to get hold of. So that's the two original UK pressings. So the only other pressing I have from around that period is the Japanese one. You know I love my Japanese pressings. So again, lovely obi strip down the side. Otherwise the album itself is exactly the same. I believe all the contents as well are the same, so you've still got the same inner sleeves. In addition, you also had, in traditional Japanese style, the little Japanese insert, so all the previous stuff that's been going on. Labels still the same, so there's nothing new there, and I believe that the booklet was exactly the same as well. I don't believe that there's any difference on the booklet. Just get this out. Yeah, it's the same inner sleeves, and the booklet exactly the same as well. And there were, I don't believe there are any extras on this one. No. And as far as I'm aware, correct me if I'm wrong, somebody out there, that this is the one and only Japanese pressing at that period. There have been later Japanese pressings, as we'll get to shortly. I think as far as the original album goes, I think this was it. I'm not sure even if there was a promotional copy released, which again, I think if there was, it's potentially going to be exactly the same bar promotional copy plastered on top of the label, essentially. Excuse me, with the stickers. Right, so that's Japanese edition. So then, going back to the UK versions, later on down the line, we had the 2012 picture disc issue. So this is slightly different. So you've got the fake Obi on the front, but the back track listing is now different to what you had on the original UK version. The track listing, sorry, is the same. It's just obviously formatted differently. Trying to imply there that the actual listing is different, but it's not. The pictures on the centre, exactly the same. So this is obviously thicker cardstock like the other discs are. This comes in different inner sleeves, so this is quite nice that they've actually gone to the effort of making things slightly different. And you have Live After Death picture on there, and a Phantom of the Opera picture on that one. So that was for disc number 1. Disc number 2, I can get it out. Another picture of the band there with a lot more information, tour dates, etc. And the World Slavery Tour picture, along with another World Slavery Tour picture. Again, picture discs, so don't particularly play them. These are collectible items only. and came as part of the 2012 reissue series that comes in the black box. Well, you got the black box separately anyway. So that was the picture disc version. Just put that that way. It's trying to mess around. The overstrip. Okay, so then finally we have the more recent 2014 reissue, and this is pretty much just a carbon copy of the original issue. So everything is exactly the same. They've reproduced the inner sleeves, they've reproduced the booklet. So everything is exactly as you would have seen it on the original release. The only difference being that this now uses the digital remaster. And to be fair, as far as digital remasters go, and I think I said this before at the time when I went through these editions, sounds pretty good. I think we had Chris Bellman from Bernie Grundman Mastering doing the mastering process. So all the reissues across the two sets of albums sound really, really good for the most part. So yeah, so that's pretty much it as far as Live After Death goes. Yeah, I mean, what can you say about this album? It's a fantastic album. Maiden's first live album. Obviously they had live EPs before then. But I just think even now, it still stands up to the test of time. People still relate back to this album as being one of the best live albums ever. Yeah, and I don't think, yeah, I can argue with that, to be honest. It is it's one of the few live albums I play on a regular basis. So there's potentially this, The Who live at Leeds, I play quite a bit. Marillion, Thieving Magpie, I think that one was a really good one. A couple of Queen albums like Live Killers, things like that. So there's some really good live albums out there, but I just think this one does tend to pick them to the post. Anyway, so that's Live After Death. So yeah, we all know the next album, Somewhere in Time. So the video for that will hopefully follow quicker than this one followed on from Power Slave. So any comments, any thoughts, any objections to what I've said, any differing opinions, then by all means let me know in the comments below. But yeah, thank you very much for watching, guys, and yeah, catch you on the next one. Thanks, guys.